And you're going to tell her to take some pills for that.
Yeah. Round two.
The day after they admitted her again was my birthday. I called her around 8 a.m. that morning to see what was really going on, but she didn't answer. A while later, my son called me and wished me a happy birthday and asked me why I'd called B. I admit that I snapped at him and I said that she should be returning my call because I called her. I hung up on him and maybe 5 minutes later, she called me. I told her that she should have called me and that I wanted to hear her voice and hear from her what was going on since my son gets confused. I then asked her if this was a mental or physical issue and she went silent before saying physical. Okay, that's red flag number 3. Guys, OP might be crazy. I asked if she was sure, and she got kind of snippy and said they had padding on her bed because she was a seizure risk, and she couldn't be alone with her newborn, so she was pretty sure. I didn't comment on her tone because I was sure that she was stressed. Okay, yeah, OP is nutso. 2 weeks later, my son picked me up and brought me to their home to visit. I stayed for a few hours, and B didn't really make any effort to talk to me. She was just so quiet and sat on the couch. When my son took me home, I asked why B was so unhospitable, and he said that I'd been rude while she was in the hospital. That she shouldn't have had to call me, and that I shouldn't have asked if it was a mental or physical problem because he had already told me that it was physical. He also said that I shouldn't have posted anything on Facebook before B about the baby being born, and that I was rude when he called me to make me take it down. Bia doesn't post on social media very often, so I didn't think that it would be a big deal. He hasn't picked me up to see the baby because he says he needs to be there to help with the baby. And they won't bring the baby to me because he says the baby isn't allowed in my house. I told my son that I'm planning to quit my job to babysit for them, but I haven't even gotten her return to work date, and she hasn't once thanked me for doing it. Overall, I feel like B is holding on to some very petty things and is using them to keep me from my son and granddaughters. I want a relationship with B, but I'm missing some critical bonding time with the baby, and I'm gonna struggle to forgive her for it. Especially over some petty nonsense that she won't even bring up to talk to me. I really want to send a text and lay out all of my feelings to her and just hash it out. But I understand that there are probably some cultural differences at play with all this too, so I could use some advice.
Girl, shut up. Oh my gosh.
Cultural differences?
Ah!
Oh yeah, I didn't pick up on that end until you said it like that.
Well, I haven't heard them reference any of that stuff just yet, so I'm not gonna assume what, because it could be
It could
anything at
be
this point. This
anything.
lady's playing in deep left field. So
Yep.
Let me see. This woman has no right to determine what is or not legitimate pain during or after someone's pregnancy. You can't blame them for not wanting to visit and dismembering her struggle after birth. Dismissing her struggles.
I was like, dismember? What? What?
I would mess up on
that
that
story took a turn.
Like,
Yes.
GFC, this woman has no common sense of when to do STF.
Of when to shut the up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's a person who centers herself in everything.
Right. She has no sense of boundaries. She has no sense of others and their need of boundaries.
Wow, Parker, just tell it like it is. Really? They don't want you around. They don't know you.
She just doesn't get the hint. Over and over, she's like, why don't they let me visit or talk to them or ask them about personal issues related to a post-pregnancy? Like, no, they don't want, God, dog, Parker. No, they don't want you around.
Just not that into you.
I mean, this is a dead giveaway when they say the baby can't even come to your house. I mean,
that's kind of whoosh. It's something missing. I feel like something's missing though.
Trust me, we have enough videos to fill in a lot of stuff. I had a very easy pregnancy and delivery, and it took me a couple of months to return to sanity, if ever. LOL.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna touch that one, Mickey. Let me see, who is this? This is my sister-in-law, Tanya. I would not worry about it. They will be back when they need a babysitter. Mama is making it worse. She needs a life.
She needs something else.
I don't think they would go to her for a babysitter. I really don't.
She quit her job to be a babysitter.
She volunteered.
Nobody asked her.
Nobody asked her to do that.
Nobody.
I'm like, you just gonna? I'll quit my job. No, you. I mean,
and then you didn't thank me for doing what you didn't even ask me to do.
You didn't.
Right.
I should thank you for something I didn't ask you to do, and probably
don't want you to do,
and probably would never ask you to do anyway.
That's weird, though, to me. You could what? And of course, as a person that's never had a child, me to say, no, Mom, I got it, and then she says, I'm gonna quit my job to be your babysitter. That's weird.
Well, that happens with a lot of families,
a lot of people,
a lot of close-knit families.
Yes.
The up until I say the most current generation. Up until the most current generation, the mother of the mother oftentimes would come to the house for the first month or so. To help.
Not quit my job.
No, you quit your job if you're working, but that, before this current generation, a lot of times you weren't working.
Yeah.
But if you're working, then you quit your job or you take a leave or whatever you do, and you come to, and as the matriarch, you come to the one who just had the baby, and you help, and so that the husband or father can go to work and focus on just helping his wife. Whereas mom is there to take care of the baby and the family itself. That's kind of old school. I can get it, but see, all that is in a healthy relationship where they want you there.
Yeah, but that's still weird to me. I've heard of them staying for like a month, 6 weeks, but to quit your job entirely.
You also got to remember that there are some mothers of the mothers who are housewives.
You mean grandmothers?
Home mothers, so they don't really didn't have to quit anything. They just like, okay, my baby need help. Boom, I'm there.
Well,
but you also got to keep
the distinction between.
In mind. You also got to keep other thing in mind in how Theus was saying, in a healthy relationship. All of this is set up way before the baby is even born.
Yeah, this is set up. She just volunteered. I'll quit my job. Girl, did nobody ask you to do all that?
Yeah. Like, no, please go to work, please.
Yeah.
Work overtime, as a matter of fact.
Thank you, boss.
Given how selfish and pushy she is, they obviously know what to expect from her and want nothing to do with her. Oh, folks.
Look,
so
how he
I have
moved
to play
out the house. He just moved out the house, didn't even tell her.
Dun, dun, dun. You gotta get the first bad vibe when she said, he didn't even tell me.
Didn't even.
Okay.
He grown him.